Let's go! Jacoby, are you kidding me? So Haley and I are on the road, but of course, LSU News never sleeps. Jacoby Matthews, are you kidding me? We just did a video less than 24 hours ago, and I listed him as the #1 target left for LSU to get. And you look historically, 5-star safeties are perfect at LSU, whether it be Jamal Adams or Jacoby Stevens. And then 5-star Louisiana players have a near 100% hit rate as well. So, stripping everything away from just his actual skill set, this is such a huge recruit. Now, you look at safety, is it as big of a position of need as it once was? And the answer to that, of course, is no. Because I think if Jay Ward is the player that we expect him to be, that's obviously going to help out for the future of the program. And then you have Matthew Langlois, the two guys that obviously you guys are the most excited about for this freshman season in the secondary is Derek Davis Jr. and Sage Ryan. But here's the thing about Jacoby Matthews is that this guy plays so many different positions. In fact, he is a really good offensive player at Ponchatoula High School. So his skill set is obviously there. He's got great size, great range, all those things. And he's still developing as a player. Now, you look at some other positions of need. Obviously, Emory Jones, we listed as the #2 player for LSU to eventually get. He will commit. So I think that'll put LSU here in a couple months at 14 commits minimum. And like we said yesterday, it's going to be interesting to see how they finagle this class, especially if more 5-stars begin to jump in, whether it be Walter Nolan or Shamar Stewart. So obviously the outlook of getting this commitment when they got it is just huge. Now, obviously, as we said in our Jake Johnson video, players can always decommit. They can always go, of course, wherever they want to go. But you get the 5-star, you get the Louisiana commit, and, it's just huge. It's absolutely huge. And think about it this way. As we move forward, as the game becomes more passing-oriented, it's going to be even more important to have numbers of guys that could guard people in the secondary. So that's absolutely huge for this team. I'm coming over here to grab one of these pizzas. I'm going to give them, because we don't live in an area with a Target. We wanted to get out of town for the weekend. Let me see. Can't find any pizzas. But something else that's very interesting that's going to happen next for LSU is if they do get some more 5-stars and they continue this class on out, this could be a #1 ranked class. And look, we all think, because we're diehard LSU fans, we all think LSU for sure is going to have a bounce back season next year. But this is the good thing about getting commitments in early. If you get them in early, and let's just say the season has a lull and you end up going 9-4, 10-3, and you're not in the playoff like all the other schools, well, getting the commitment before the season even began, we saw last season when the Tigers, even though they struggled, they really didn't have any decommitments from the guys that committed before the season began. A lot of their big guys like Garrett Nussmeier and Landon Jackson and players like that committed before the season, they still stuck with LSU. And even after the season, guys like Mason Smith and Sage Ryan still chose LSU anyway. So the good thing about getting the early work done and getting your recruiting class all committed and ready to go, it helps you now figure out what your numbers are going to be moving forward. And then, a lot of these really good 3-star defensive backs in Louisiana, guys like Jordan Allen and Lorenzo DeBois or whoever else. I know I didn't say his first name correctly. But still, you look at guys like that, you then can figure out if you can offer them later down the road. And I do highly recommend to watch our video yesterday, because the transfer portal now opens up for immediate availability. It's even more important now to have more open slots if more guys are going to transfer. And I think even you would admit, watching this video right now in the middle of a Target, I think even you would admit that more guys are going to enter the portal moving forward. So that's going to make it even more important to know what your numbers are as soon as you possibly can, compared to committing late in the process, knowing whether or not you would have to use that slot on someone else. So getting guys signed and committed in the early signing period and getting it done quicker is always better, of course, because it allows you to plan and work from there. Now, as far as, and every time we do a commitment video, as far as players that we could see commit to LSU down the road, the next guy, of course, is Emory Jones. I'm really high on him at a Catholic High in Baton Rouge. I know he's not an elite guy. There's some other five-star offensive linemen that you'd want to get, like a Devon Campbell or a Zach Rice or someone like that. But getting the Louisiana offensive linemen, guys that you know LSU's their dream school, and everyone around him will tell you LSU is their dream school, especially from Catholic High, considering what Clyde Edwards-Helaire just did for the school, and hopefully Jared Small next season. I just think Emory Jones is going to be the next Tiger that will eventually commit. So that will put LSU at 14. If someone else commits, 15. So then you have to worry about how many more slots do you want after that. And then you have guys like Shaz Preston, Kendrick Law, and all those Louisiana playmakers we were talking about in yesterday's video. Trevante Citizen, Le'Veon Moss, and those guys. Everyone thinks I'm crazy in here doing this video. What do they do? Do they decide to make that switch, or they decide to go to LSU? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Obviously, LSU is really young at running back. They're really young at wide receiver. So they have some tough decisions to make coming up as well. So it's a really fascinating thing that this Jacoby Matthews news decided to break today. I found it very interesting that he decided to make this decision. Did it have something to do with LSU hiring Mason Smith? Now, full disclosure, a few of you texted me and sent me emails about this thing. Mason Smith, the recruiter, is different than Mason Smith, the defensive tackle, and their names are different. Mason, the defensive tackle, has 2 A's, whereas this Mason Smith has 1 A, and he comes over from Mississippi State. Did he have something to do with this? I don't know. Apparently, he's an ace recruiter. Apparently, he'll be joining Austin Thomas and Ed Orgeron and everyone there, so maybe he had something to do with that. I'm not sure, so we'll see what happens there. So now, this is what really fascinates me, and I could talk about this all day, but Haley's going to get mad at me. I don't even know where she is. You ever notice when you go shopping with your girlfriends or boyfriends or significant others, and you go to a store you normally don't go, you're like, okay, don't get lost. Don't get lost. We always get lost. She always goes off and shops, and she wants to get a maca coffee or whatever. But this is, and this is to me what's going to be interesting now, all right? Will LSU go after more safeties? Now, notice this, and this could be crazy. This safety haul has the potential to be even better than the safety haul from a year before with Matthew Langlois, Derek Davis Jr., and, of course, Sage Ryan, because Kamari Wilson is still another guy that you have to keep an eye out for. He's at IMG Academy. He's a guy that, IMG's been really good to LSU, whether it be Eli Ricks or Grant Delpit. He's a guy as a 5-star that has an outside shot of committing to LSU. So that's the crazy thing. LSU safety haul could get even better. And that's obviously really good news for Durante Jones and the LSU defense. Obviously, of course, live stream Saturday night at 7 p.m. Central. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central, we will have our film study of the second half of the LSU spring game. Isn't it funny now that, like, all these big department stores, they just sell everything? Like, they sell everything. Like, you could go to one aisle, get a pizza, and then the next aisle you're looking at a, I don't know, pizza. This is where I've been looking. They moved them. Let me see if they got the pizza I want. This is it. Okay, I promise you. And they better send me some money on this. This brand of pizza right here. Outsiders. Okay? I'm willing to transport this frozen pizza for 2 hours. So, obviously comment below. I want to know what you think of Jacoby Matthews. It is Power Hour. LSU, boom. Let's go. Pizza tonight. I think we're about to go have some sushi for lunch. Let's go. Lunch, what am I talking about? It's like 3-ish, 4-ish. It's 4-ish. What time is it? I lose time. Let's go.